Alright, welcome back.
どうだろうな。
It's probably about to rain. Didn't you hear the thing about the bad weather? As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to fall down. It also seemed like the wind had gotten a little stronger. Did we bring any umbrellas?
マリアポタッと来ない。マリアだけ来ない。
安心しろ。俺にも来ねえぜ。それに今夜になれば誰にも等しく大雨が降るだろうよ。
そうだね。そろそろ引き上げた方がいいか
Yeah,
な。
that would probably be an incredibly intelligent idea on our deserted island. Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. It was already well into the evening.
もう仕事に戻る時間かよ。はい。皆様と一緒で楽しい時間を過ごさせていただきました。ありがとうございました。
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。
Cookie.
さあみんな、片付けを手伝おう。
Shannon-chan declined her help, saying that this was a servant's job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress Picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
ゴミが逃げる。
そいつは逃がさないぜ。マリアより先にいただきだ。
マリアが拾う。マリア、靴を濡らすなよ。怒られるぜ。
To Maria, chasing after some trash that the strong winds had sent flying was just like another game. When we finished cleaning up, the wind had started blowing very strongly. It looked like a good chance to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
もう本当に時間がないみたいだね。先に戻っていいよ。
George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だからな。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
また後でね。お仕事頑張ってね。
Oh man, everything is gonna go terrible, I just know it.
はい。それでは失礼させていただきます。
After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran over towards the rose garden.
ほんじゃ、俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。テレビでも見てくつろがせてもらうさ。
テレビ見る。テレビ見る。なら決まりだな。
How do they get power? Do they have like an underwater line or do they have like a power generation plant? My guess would be underwater, though I don't know quite how that would work so well.
戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
Maria, who hadn't had enough fun yet, agreed when she thought about watching television. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. Oh, and it didn't go terrible. Okay. I thought it was going to like just start pouring down and they were like gonna get lost on the way back or something. The wind had become very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. Tonight's typhoon was sure to ruin them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
そうだな。バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。台風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
And then they get brutally murdered.
花はいつか必ず散る。でもだからこそ咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
そうだな。マリアもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
目に焼き付ける。
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she had remembered something.
マリアのバラ、台風で飛ばされちゃう。
Probably.
ああ、ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらった。あの元気のないバラか？
It seemed that Maria remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
あれはどこだったっけな。
Didn't we tie something around it?
確かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
We searched everywhere around that area, but after all, it was only a single flower amongst all these roses. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds that made up the front lines of the typhoon were making the roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。なんだよ、マリア。
As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. It felt like her intention was to stop us from going to another place.
なんだよ、どうした？
ほう、マリアのバラはここなの。ここにあるの。
でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
ここなの。マリアのバラはここなの。探して、探して。
Maria, you need to calm down. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She had pointed out the spot and said it was definitely here, but it actually wasn't. Having said that, Maria got mad when we went to go search elsewhere. We couldn't help but be puzzled. For a while, we would have to stay with Maria and pretend to search through this rose thicket. It's definitely not here.
ない。ない。ない。
That's what we said. Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but it isn't. Maria's become increasingly ill-tempered.
参ったな。マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまったぞ。
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。それがどうにかなるときはいいんだけど。
ないものは探せないしね。困ったな。
Just when we were at a loss as to what was going on, Maria raised a loud voice. In the direction she was waving her hand, Aunt Rose's figure was visible. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Or maybe she was worried about her daughter being stuck out in a typhoon. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら、どうしたのみんな。何か探し物なの？
探して。ママもマリアのバラを探して。
マリアのバラって？
この辺に元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに目印をつけたんです。
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。
That's what it was, yeah.
しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃ、すぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ、他の場所だったと思うぜ。マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか？
ここなの。ここなの。
You need to, like, chill out. It's definitely not here.
信じてくれない。
そのうー言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかるの？ママも探してあげるから静かにしなさい。
I was a little surprised to see Aunt Rosa, who I had only ever seen as gentle, get angry. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were already more than sure that it wasn't around here. Therefore, Aunt Rosa also soon realized that it wasn't here.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ。他の場所の間違いじゃない。これだけたくさんのバラがあるんだから。
違うの。ここにあるの。ママも信じてくれない。
Because it's not here.
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ。でもないじゃない。
でもここなの。ここにあるのにないの。
じゃあ誰かが抜いちゃったんでしょ。とにかくその言うのやめなさい。
Maria, I'm about getting tired of your crap here.
マリアのバラ抜いたの誰？抜いたの誰？返して返して
そんなの知らないわよ。やめなさい。その言うのやめなさい。
Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected before it could be fulfilled, she started yelling with an increasingly louder voice. Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying, and began to bawl in an increasingly louder voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated, and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up.
ローザおばさん、まあ小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together. But Aunt Rosa threatened me with a serious face which told me not to butt in.
ごめんね。バトラ君たちはちょっとお部屋に戻っててくれる。おばさんはマリアとちょっと話があるの。
誰もマリアのバラを信じてくれない。ここにあったのに。
I'm sure it was there, but it's not there anymore.
でもないじゃない。なら他の場所の勘違いでしょ。こ
こなの。絶対にここな
の。じゃあなくなっちゃったのよ。諦めなさい。
どうしてマリアのバラがなくなっちゃうの？どうして
知らないわよ、そんなの。だからその言うのをやめなさい。
Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, and overrun by emotion, slapped Maria's cheek. It was so strong, it knocked Maria over.
ローザおばさん、いくら娘でも暴力はいけねっすよ。
I stepped between them to correct Maria, who was still on the ground crying, "Ooh!" I knew that problems between parents and childs were none of my business as an outsider. But I wasn't brought up just to silently observe something like this.
バトラ君は変に思わないの？あなたの学校にうなってる女の子なんている？
いや、まあさすがに高校には。でも小学生ならそういう言うのも可愛いじゃないっすか。
可愛い？言うのが可愛い？可愛いって？
It seemed that my reckless words had brought Aunt Rosa's wrath down upon me. Auntie grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。マリアがいくつか知ってる？9歳よ。小学4年生なのよ。幼稚園児じゃないのよ。それなのにまだクラスで言ってるのよ。わかる？この子クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの？この変な口癖のせいで未だに友達の一人もいないのよ。無責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って現実から目をそらさないで。この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて。だからその言う
Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head from which an increasingly unsatisfied voice was rising. I tried to stop it, but Auntie thrust me away. My back hit George Anarchy.
昔はローザおばさんもマリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけど、小学校の中学年になっても治らないのを最近はだいぶ気にしてて。
別にどういう言葉遣いをしようと関係ねえだろ。
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ。だから見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけれど、これはおばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ。
まあ私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくお袋に怒られるけどよ。
If you look at it that way, maybe an outsider shouldn't interfere with this, even though it's painful to watch.
バトラ君だって小さい頃悪い癖が治らなくて怒られたことがあったんじゃないかい？
まあ一つや二つは。授業参観の日に人前でずっと怒られてた時は恥ずかしくてたまらなかったぜ。
じゃあ今のマリアちゃんたちの気持ちはわかるよね。僕たちにここにいてほしいとは思わないんじゃないかな。ジェシカちゃんにもわかるよね。
怒られてるところを誰かに見られてえとは思わないぜ。
行こう。ゲストハウスへ戻ろう。そしてマリアちゃんが戻ってきたら何事もなかったかのように迎えてあげようよ。それが一番じゃないかい。
Because we thought that George Anarchy's point was probably correct. We were fine with using that correct-sounding reason to justify retreating, as long as it would ease the pain in our chests. Jessica and I nodded at George Anarchy, and we all left. We called towards Maria that we were going to head to the guest house, but since it didn't seem to reach her ears, we also had shamelessly guilty consciences.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。
探す！マリアが一人で探す！ママが知らなくても探す！
勝手にしなさい。
After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but from Rosa's perspective, that was not her intention. It was because the hand which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek with was still numb. It was because, if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, only Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while, a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place. Not until she found that poor withering rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria, while bitterly staring at the place she was supposed to be, thought frantically, maybe the angle I'm looking at is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood there, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting increasingly stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. I'm about tired of your crap, Maria. I'm about sick of it. And we're going to stop there. Hope you guys enjoyed somewhat. I was getting a little bit tired of it. It was cute up to a point, and I felt bad for her up to a point, and after a while I'm just like, okay, Maria, it's seriously not here. We need to go inside. It's starting to rain. But whatever. Next time we'll come back here. I am seriously trying to make a better effort at getting this done more often. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for more Umineko. Bye!